Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having chosen to attend this session. All you wanted to know about the GEO Knowledge Hub. We heard yesterday from our current and our incoming director the importance of making the results of our work more visible, accessible, and influential to decision makers. In this session, with the support of our distinguished speakers, we will illustrate the value of open science and how the GEO Knowledge Hub will contribute to this movement. Furthermore, the GEO Knowledge Hub will be presented through a live demo with a focus on the user and knowledge provider perspective. And finally, we will hear from our pioneers knowledge providers, the Human Planet Initiative and the Brazilian Data Cube, the efforts required to ensure that the shared Earth observation applications are fully reusable by the community. We invite you to pose your questions at the end of the question and answer session. Thank you very much. Our first speaker, Lúbia Vinhas, is a researcher from the National Institute of Space Research in Brazil. Lúbia has been the head of IMPE, Image Processing Division, from April 2014 to 2018, and she's currently collaborating within the program for satellite monitoring of the Brazilian Amazon and the Brazilian Data Cube. She's leading now the design of IMPE New Georeference Database Program. Lúbia has kindly contributed to this session by sending us her pre-recorded video. We hear from now on from Lúbia the role and value of open science. Thank you very much. Okay. Just 1 minute, it's a technical problem.
Open Science. Good morning, everyone. I am Lúbia Vinhas, a senior researcher at the Brazil National Institute for Space Research. Today, I will present a few thoughts about the role and value of open science. Open science refers to an ongoing movement in how research is performed. Researchers collaborate, knowledge is shared, and science is organized. It is implemented concretely through some core practices, such as open access, open source software, open data, and open peer review publishing. It enhances science by facilitating more transparency, openness, network, and collaboration. We could see open science in action in the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Researchers are sharing publications and data more quickly than ever before, starting with the genetic sequence of COVID-19 virus that led to more articles, more data, and more code being shared openly without delay in search for vaccines, treatments, and protocols to solve this situation. Open science is more than a technology-driven change. Several elements of the life cycle of research needed to be in place. One of the most important ones for open science to succeed is open data. It is a condition sine qua non for reproducibility and scientific progress. Our community has recognized the benefits of open policies for Earth observation data for quite some time now. In 2004, for example, Brazil adopted an open policy on the the CBER's mission imagery data. Today, EO data have already exceeded the petabyte scale and are increasingly freely available from different data repositories. We are increasing volume, velocity, variety of EO data in an unprecedented way. OpenEO data contributes to accelerate the process of scientific knowledge creation, but also the communication of its value to different actors in society, other than the traditional scientific community. We can see EO data in projects, in social media, in education, for example. People are aware of what is a satellite image and how it can be used to solve important problems. Again, an example from my organization on the use of open data, I refer to the monitoring of deforestation in the Brazilian Amazon. We have been generating data about the removal of natural vegetation in the region since 1988. We use open source software, a specific GIS developed by us and released at open and free software called Terra Amazon to carry on this project. And the data that we generate is also released as open data. We believe that this contributes to science because we can see that the deforestation data produced by INPE has been cited in peer-reviewed journal articles since a long time. Currently, more than 1,300 articles cite the produced data. And by the way, the methodology used in the projects are also available without restriction access. The big challenge now is to move from OpenEO data and OpenEO software to OpenEO data processing platforms. The volume and velocity of EO data will continue to grow as the demands for decision support information derived from these data sets. To handle this situation, cloud computing is an option. Cloud infrastructures are being used to move algorithms and tools to the data, making large volumes of EO data available to a wide range of users, enabling them to handle and visualize data they are interested in without having to download them and consequently avoiding large-scale data transfer and promoting the efficient and effective use of EO data. We have already seen big tech companies providing EO data and data access and processing services in their cloud infrastructures. That wouldn't be possible without the open data policies for EO that are currently in place. Large volumes of EO imagery and products are being organized as data cubes, and frameworks to build and process them are being developed. For example, the Open Data Cube ecosystem that allows the deployment of data cubes and applications in different environments. We have different organizations supporting and implementing the version of data cubes to support different uses and applications, and also making them available in open processing platforms. At INPE, we are building EO data cubes for the entire country in the Brazil Data Cube project. The project aims at supporting the automatic generation of land use and land cover data for the entire country. but we believe that other applications will be possible using this infrastructure. We started with open data and open source software, and we are moving to open data and processing platforms to support and promote open science. Well, in conclusion, I believe that researchers are very much aware of the value and the importance of open science, especially as scientific research becomes highly data-driven and dependent on computing. Scientists are conscious of the growing need to share their data, their software, and also infrastructure to reduce wasteful duplication efforts and increase economies of scale. I also believe that there are still some financial, technical, interoperability, and even legal issues that has to be solved. However, I think that our EO community is making its contribution to solve these issues. That's why I think that the GEO Knowledge Hub is such an important project, because it links the core principles of open science in a pragmatic and collaborative way. Well, I thank you all for watching this presentation, and I wish that you have a wonderful event and that you learn a lot about the GEO Knowledge Hub project. See you another time.
Many thanks to Lubia and for her inspiring presentation. It is now time for learning more about the GEO Knowledge Hub. And our next speaker.
So our next speaker is Paola De Salvo. Paola holds a Master of Environmental Biology from the University of Rome. She has over 15 years of experience in the geospatial domains, and she has worked in the UN for over 15 years in several agencies such as ITC, FAO, WFP, as well as in the private sector. She joined the Secretariat, the GEO Secretariat in 2015, where she was working with the community on the GEOS infrastructure, as well as on the GEO Knowledge Hub. Up to you, Paola.
Thank you very much, Florian. So it is my pleasure to walk you through the vision and the rationale of the GEO Knowledge Hub. In a nutshell, what is the GEO Knowledge Hub? The GEO Knowledge Hub is a centralized digital library accessible via a web page that provides a single entry point to discover and access knowledge resources related to Earth observation applications developed by the GEO Work Program activities. This is the result of a very fruitful collaboration between the GEO Secretariat, INPE staff, GEO Work Program activities, and open source software development community led by CERN. The software underlying the GEO Knowledge Hub is called Invenio RDM, and there is a vast open source community behind it, willing to further develop and use it for establishment of their digital libraries. Several flagships, slide before please. Several flagship and initiative of the GEO Work Program have called for the establishment of a centralized, efficient mean for knowledge transfer and scaling of application developed as a result of their efforts. The GEO Knowledge Hub will respond to the need for greater efficiency in enhancing the visibility and dissemination of application from GEO Work Program activity and lowering the barriers of accessing for member states. In a nutshell, we can consider the GEO Knowledge Hub as a tool to enhance the collective intelligence and to respond quicker and more effectively to our world's greatest problem. What resources will it contain? We can say without any doubt that the most important actors for the GEO Knowledge Hub are the GEO Work Program activities, the authoritative holders of knowledge, who are producing a wealth of knowledge in the various domains. Each of the GEO Work Program activity will be called to contribute to populate the GEO Knowledge Hub with the Earth observation applications developed within their group. So every Earth observation application is made of several knowledge resources that can, several components that we call knowledge resources. The various knowledge resources related to each Earth observation solutions are of different types. We have publications, as we heard from Lubia. We have remote sensing or in situ data serving as samples or input data set. We do have open source software, manuals, algorithm, training material, and output products, as well as computing environment. All these knowledge resources constitute the essential component for an end user to be able to understand and reuse the given Earth observation for his or her own area of interest. The various Earth observation applications and knowledge resources are made of different formats. Next slide, please. We have a publication. They can be in all the various formats. We have software, in situ data, and so forth. The GEO Knowledge Hub will gather all these knowledge resources. Next slide, please. And the uniqueness of the GEO Knowledge Hub is that the GEO Work Program activities will curate and organize all the essential knowledge resources into a knowledge package. This is to facilitate the full accessibility of the elements essential to reuse the application in another area. Who will use the GEO Knowledge Hub? The GEO Knowledge Hub will be useful for a wide range of stakeholders. We mainly aim at targeting Earth observation experts who are critical to provide guidance to advisors and therefore to decision makers. And the Earth observation experts will build on the resources developed by the GEO Work Program activities. So what it takes to deliver and what level of investment is needed from the GEO Work Program activities. The experience we developed so far in the engagement with the GEO Work Program activities as knowledge provider has given us the following information. The knowledge provider is the best placed domain expert to quickly identify all the knowledge resources necessary for the user to fully understand. And in this diagram, we summarize the sequential steps required to develop a full reusable solution. Of course, we are aware that the efforts to develop the knowledge packages is highly variable based on their complexity, as well on the initial stage of the knowledge resources, as well on the state of the organization, as we heard from Lubia and Impe. We will hear sequentially on the efforts from the Human Planet Initiative and the Brazilian Data Cube as our pioneer knowledge provider. In a nutshell, what we can say, next slide, please, is that the more knowledge resources are associated, the more the Earth observation application will be understandable and usable by the end user. So what are the benefits? We can say without no doubt that there will be benefit for GEO Work Program activities because it will improve the visibility of the knowledge developed by each of the activity. They will be used by, the knowledge will be used by a larger group of users. The end user will be able to provide feedback and be able to enhance the solution and promoting further innovation. there will be benefit for GEO member states. And the GEO Knowledge Hub helps to bridge the existing gap and enable every country to benefit from knowledge developed by authoritative scientists and promote international cooperation. Next slide, please. In order to do that, it will require the community to engage in an important mind shift towards open knowledge by addressing open access, open data, open software, open infrastructure, and open education. With this, I would like to give the floor to my colleague, Florian Franciskakis, who will drive us through a live demo of the GEO Knowledge Hub. Florian holds a master's degree in earth science and a geomatics certificate from the University of Geneva. Florian has been with us at the GEO Secretariat since 2019 and is deeply involved in the technical development of the GEO Knowledge Hub as well as in situ data sets. Before joining the GEO Secretariat, Florian was working with the UNEP grid as within the crisis management branch. So Florian, thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Paola. And can you hear me? I will give a brief walkthrough to the Knowledge Hub, to its current interface, to see what a user would be able to do, as well as I will present the provider's interface for the GEO work program activities to record, to upload, and to manage the resources. So here you can see the GEO Knowledge Hub homepage, and let's assume that we are a user in search for a solution for human settlements. So we would search for human settlement here, and we would land on the results page here with a variety of resources that Paula explained before. So you have publications, software, data set, as well as what we have discussed before, the knowledge package. If we go here, you can see that there are a few basic information about each record, the status access for the files associated, if it's just a metadata record, the resource type, a brief summary, as well as a few keywords to help indexing the resources. So for instance, if we want to look at this publication here, so we click and we would land on this record page where you have more information. You have the title, all the contributors, you can show the affiliations. You have a DOI, the GEO Knowledge Hub will allow registration of DOI from the community. Then you have a brief abstract and you are able to preview the files. Here it's a technical report from JRC, from the GHSL, the Global Human Settlement Layers data package. You can download it if you want, or put it in plain screen just to view it. And here you can see that this resource is part of the following knowledge package, and you will be able to land on the full knowledge package. What we call knowledge package is basically a record to give a brief overview of the solution, the EO solution. You also have a DOI, and here you have a brief abstract written by the team which explains briefly what this solution can do, what is it for, what are the elements, as well as you have below here the different resources that this knowledge package contains. So you have the software, you have some user guides for the software, you have data sets, you have also software, basically everything that you need to understand and replicate and reuse the solution. And here, for instance, if we want to check out this data set, well, we click and we have also the record of these data sets. The GEO Knowledge Hub is able to store data sets, but it can also link to existing repositories, especially when the data is very big and is already stored in its own infrastructure. So here, for instance, you have information on how to access the data set in the JRC data catalog. So if you click on the link, then you will be redirected to the website where you can download directly the data sets. Of course, this is not all, and you can register ready-to-run environments such as Jupyter Notebooks, also with step-by-step guide in order to help your potential users to make the best of your solution. This is from a user point of view. So now let's check how to upload and manage records from a knowledge provider point of view. So that would be GEO work program activities or institutions willing to share their knowledge, but do not necessarily have the infrastructure to do so. So the Knowledge Hub would be a place to do so. If we click here on uploads, you can see this interface that allows you to manage the records. Here you have the records that were shown before for the human planet. So if we click on it, we can edit, for instance, and we have here, you can create a new version to add, modify, or delete files. Here you can register the DOIs, you have the type of resource, the title, in a really easy interface to manage. You can add creators to the resource with org ID and their affiliations. You have the description. You can manage licenses for your records as well as other fields here. You can manage version, and you can also add identifiers. And here is the crucial part, which is the part where you link the different resources to the knowledge package, and you can link also with external resources. If we come back to the uploads part, you can see that, of course, you can edit the versions, you can see what the status of your resources, you can add a new upload, which will basically be the same, and you can drag and drop files or just create a metadata only record. You're able to select if the files are visible or the full record. Of course, in the Knowledge Hub, we aim at open science, and so on. So we really want this to be a very easy to use interface for the communities to work together. And speaking about communities, here you see this dedicated tab that will allow the GEO work program activities or the community in general to organize themselves around these records and knowledge packages. So here we created some test communities for the Human Planet initiatives, as well as SDG 11, which means that you will be able to link records to these communities, to the Human Planet, where the team of this activity can manage the records and select what they share, how they share it, to update and keep it maintained to answer the user's needs. These communities, we also really want it to be a place to connect between end users and the providers by asking questions if they have problems using the solution, by proposing help to contribute, or as well to share user stories to highlight the benefits of how the open science and the sharing of all these resources has actually helped them solve their problems in their local, regional, or global settings. So the Knowledge Hub, although it's a digital library at a first objective, really wants to bring the community together and to maybe link the providers with the users. And on this, I will come back to the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Florian. And we're very pleased to be with you all today. This is the result of a great team effort from GEO Secretariat staff, and as we said before, with deep support by GeoWorld initial pioneers, GeoWorld program activities. And today we do have one a very important GeoWorld program initiative, the Human Planet initiative. And Thomas Kemper is with us today. Thomas is leading the Global Human Settlement Project at the European Commission, at the Joint Research Center. Thomas has a wide range of experience in remote sensing for the detection and characterization of settlement in support of EU policies. And from 2004 to 2007, he has helped setting up the Center for Satellite-Based Crisis Information of the German Aerospace Center. So since 2007, he's working on the analysis of human settlement, and in particular, informal human settlement, such as slums, IDPs, and refugee dwellings. So it is my pleasure to welcome Thomas in his experience as a pioneer knowledge provider in populating and contributing to the GEO Knowledge App. Thank you very much, Thomas. The floor is yours.
Thank you for this introduction, and thank you for inviting us to be pioneers. I don't really feel like pioneers because we got really good guidance from your side, so that made things really easy. If you go to the next slide, you heard already from Florian a lot about Human Planet, but still I would like to explain a bit what we are doing in the initiative to set the scene before then giving the example of how we contributed with our knowledge packages. So the Human Planet Initiative aims to provide global free and open data about population and the built environment. So I highlighted here some important points. What we are aiming at is really global information. So not case studies of single cities, really truly global full coverage, at least of the global landmass, and then population information and building information, infrastructure information. I should have highlighted also free and open data, but I think this is becoming such a standard that I think we all agree that we don't even have to highlight so much anymore. You see on the right-hand side one of the products of the Human Planet Initiative, the PopGrid viewer of the PopGrid Data Collaborative that tries to federate providers of global data sets. And what we are doing is there to just present the different data sets and show differences, because there's different approaches on in this case population mapping, what type of disaggregation are you using, and just by illustrating this shows to the user what they can do or what fits better for their purposes. That is one part of the initiative, working on the technical side, improving algorithms, comparing, and providing new findings. At the same time, we also chose not to separate in the Human Planet Initiative between producers and users so much. So we are collaborators, on the one hand, the scientists and technologists, but also we really try to involve decision makers very early in the process, because that's, at least also for us from the Commission, the end goal, to support science and decision making. And that's where we started then to produce as a Human Planet product, the Atlas of the Human Planet, that each year addresses different topics of human-related issues already distilled for policy making. And if you want to know more about that, tomorrow evening there's a session where we, as Human Planet, try to present what we're offering and try to engage with more GEO work program initiatives. Next slide. And yeah, one central part of the Human Planet Initiative, among others, is the Global Human Settlement layer. That again, basically does what I already said. We are collecting data and tools for assessing the human presence on the planet. Again, built up areas, population, and also settlement classification. And we use this for understanding and monitoring of human and physical exposure to natural and other disasters. But it also allows to look at the impact of human activities on ecosystems, for example, or the human access to resources. The next slide illustrates then a bit the chain of processes. I will not go into much detail. We're starting on the left-hand side with free and open global data sets. Working horses in the past was Landsat, and we still use it, but we are now shifting more to the Sentinel data due to the slightly better spatial resolution. The first step in our production chain is the detection of built-up areas. You see in the second part, the black and white image where the black pixels are the built-up areas. And then we are collaborating with CIESIN at Columbia University, who have collected census information for all countries in the world and harmonized them. And very often they come at very coarse administrative units. And we take those population figures and redistribute them into the buildings so that we can come up with fine scale population information. And the third step is the application of the degree of urbanization, that is the settlement classification that was recently adopted by the UN Statistical Commission for International Comparison. And it allows a global comparison of urbanization, so identifying cities above 50,000 inhabitants, for example, in a harmonized way, which was not possible before. So these are the ingredients that are out there, plus all the tools, the scientific literature, and also the reports like the Atlas of the Human Planet. So if you go to the next slide, I bring some examples of things that you already have seen in Florian's presentation. So next slide, please. If you go back one to the data sets. So here we have started with the GHSL data sets on built up and population. And on the next slide, we also provided there the software tools that we use for generating this. So there's the Masada Massive Spatial Data Analytics is a tool for extraction of settlement information, but also other land use if you tune it accordingly, which is the basis for the built-up area extraction. Then the next step is the creation of population grids and the degree of urbanization. All those tools are already available on our website, but here they're nicely really grouped in this knowledge package. And then the last part is the publications that you need. On the one hand, there's the example of the dark user guide that you need to run the tools, but on the other hand, there's also the scientific publications that then go much more in depth in the science behind the tool. So it's really a nice package of all the things you need to understand what you can do with the data. And I think with that, I'm coming already to my conclusions on the next slide. Yes. I don't have to argue about the use of free and open data anymore, but really, if you go beyond open data and think also about having your methods published and potentially also your tools, I mean, that don't have to be graphical user interface tools nowadays. I think well-written Python code or whatever on GitHub will do. And we learned that if you do this, if you go this path, you broaden your user base enormously. And also, especially in the context of policy making, having the tools out there, allowing others to make use and regenerate your results creates enormous trust. I can provide here this example from the discussions with UN Statistical Commission, where we were proposing this global definition. And that is sometimes providing very different results than the national definitions. So it was quite hard to start discussing with statistical offices that this is just complementing their national definition. It should not replace them. And working with them and showing them that it can provide even added value for their policy making really was much easier with having all the information out there. And I would have loved to have the knowledge package already out there so that you could just point them to that. If you go this direction, you have already thought about metadata, etc., and you have all the ingredients ready for integration in the knowledge package. And Florian, towards the end, showed the user interfaces that they have been generating to insert the information. It's really, for us, it was really a copy-paste exercise and very straightforward and simple. So really, I think this is I'm looking forward to see other data sets and see how we can combine those with our data sets then in the future. And I think I stop here with my experience on providing some data. So we also, this was, yeah, you mentioned Pioneer. There's more to come. Also, CSIN is now preparing to ask for data upload, etc. So this is I think something I'm looking forward to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas, for this very clear presentation and for this important message of the open and well-documented Earth observation solution. But I'd like to as well underline two words you mentioned, which are critical: the transparency, openness, and trust to progress and to scale up the application within the community. We're extremely thankful to the Human Planet Initiative as a pioneer knowledge provider for their support and enthusiasm. And really, it unveiled the importance of documenting and making sure that every piece of the Earth observation solution is documented for and open to the community. So we do have in our presentation our next speaker, who's contributing to this session through a video. Berto has been an extremely important contributor to the advancement of the GEO Knowledge App. Gilberto is a senior scientist and technologist at the National Institute for Space Research in Brazil. He works in research and development projects related to geotechnologies and that support the activities of the monitoring Amazon and other Brazilian biomes. Since 2016, is an associate professor of geoinformatics and geospatial data science at INPE. Currently is one of the Brazilian DataCube project leader, and his research interests include remote sensing applied to land use, land cover mapping, and geospatial big data platform. Similarly to what Thomas has presented, Gilberto is sharing his experience in the work and the efforts made by their side to contribute with their Earth observation solution, land use, land cover classification within the GEO Knowledge App. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Gilberto Queiroz. I work at the Brazilian National Institute for Space Research, INPE. Currently, I am one of the leaders of the Brazil DataCube project. And on behalf of the Brazil DataCube team, I would like to thank the GEO Symposium organizers for giving me the opportunity to share our experience as a knowledge provider regarding the organization and preparation of a knowledge package shared through the GEO Knowledge Hub. Just to add some context about the application behind this knowledge package, our institution has a long tradition on researches related to creation of land use and land cover maps, mainly in the Amazon and Cerrado biomes. So we have the DETER system that generates deforestation alerts based on the analysis of daily images from the Cyber Satellite series. The PRODS system provides the annual inventory of all clear-cut deforestation in the natural vegetation since 1988, based on Landsat images. And the Terra class identifies what the deforested areas detected by PRODS become. Thus, our team at INPE has been working on research and developing of methodologies and technologies to support these activities. The Brazil Data Cube project started in 2019, and it is part of the technological innovation to improve the environmental monitoring carried out by INPE. Besides the production of analysis-ready data, we are also developing technologies to deal with big Earth observation data management and analysis tools. And therefore, as a proof of concept, we are also creating land use and land cover maps for Brazil based on the data and tools we are developing. The EO application that we are sharing in the GEO Knowledge Hub highlights the use of Earth observation data cubes, machine learning techniques to create land use and land cover maps. It is essentially supported by an R package named SEEDS that provides a simple API for the complete workflow of land classification from big EO datasets. The title of the application we shared through the GEO Knowledge Hub is Land Use and Land Cover Classification in the Brazilian Cerrado Biome using Brazil Data Cube. This application encompasses many resources, such as the scientific publications behind our classification methodology, the analysis-ready data in the form of data cubes, the SEEDS tool running in computational environments such as Jupyter and RStudio, the source code related to the data processing and analysis, the training and validation samples in Esri shapefile format or in our data format, and the final land use and land cover map in GeoTIFF format. To share this application in the GEO Knowledge Hub, we had to prepare information regarding all the components of the application. Basically, we had to include for each resource a bibliographical metadata, such as title, authors, abstract, description, and links for related resources. For instance, we developed Docker images with the software environment to allow users to quickly set up their computational environment in their own hardware. So the resource documentation related to the computational environment redirects the user to the Docker Hub, where he or she can find and use these images. All these resources are then linked and packed in a unit called knowledge package. We have also developed complementary documentation for some of the resources in order to facilitate the user comprehension of this application. And we developed also a special document that gives the user an overview of the whole application and its resource, a kind of step-by-step guide. Once this information was prepared, we registered it into the GEO Knowledge Hub digital library. This step consists basically in uploading the PDF files, the Esri shape files with land use and land cover samples data used in the application, the GeoTIFF files with the maps resulting from the classification, and the bibliographical notes of each resource. So after publishing the knowledge package, it is available for the users in the digital library. If someone search, for example, for land use and land cover, the resources associated to these keywords are retrieved. And then if we select the land use and land cover knowledge package, we will have more details about it, as we can see. there is a basic description of the application and a document which provides more details about the application and its resource. It will briefly introduce the methodology, the software used, the input data sets, and the results. And if we need more information about a specific resource, we can locate it into the related resources list. So if we want more information about the training and validation samples, we can select this component and then we can get more information about it. So just a final remarks, although preparing a knowledge package requires some extra work, we think that it brings several benefits. It improves the organization of research artifacts. It will facilitate the dissemination of the knowledge as every resource of the application is made available in a single place. New team members or collaborators in our own project can take advantage also of this information. And we are sure that the Knowledge Hub will also increase the collaboration with the scientific community as more resources are shared and the applications can be reused. So in the name of the Brazil DataCube team, I would like to thank again the GEO Symposium organizers for their kind invitation to participate in this session. And finally, many thanks for your attention.
Many thanks to Gilberto and his team for the contribution with this very insightful presentation and the work behind the knowledge package on the land use land cover classification. We do have a few minutes left for question and answers. Everyone who's willing to pose a question, please either use the chat or raise your hand. We do have a couple of incoming questions. The first question comes from Fabia Hosler. Fabia is asking about how the GEO Knowledge App relates to the GEOS portal. So thank you very much, Fabia. I'll go ahead, Florian, and answer this question. We have started discussion and conversations with the GEOS platform team because we want to leverage the work that has been done in the past. And within the framework of the GEOS Infrastructure Development Task Team, the so-called GIDTT, we're having discussion on connection of the two systems. We have to look at the GEOS platform and the GEO Knowledge App as two complementary modules of the GEOS infrastructure as a whole. So at the moment, the elements that are under discussion, of course, include the usage of APIs to establish interoperability and connection. As hopefully was clear from our presentation, the GEO Knowledge Hub main goal is not to host data, although it can host data, but the main goal of the GEO Knowledge Hub is to provide to the end user all these essential components, the knowledge resources packaged into a knowledge package to be able to quickly access, discover it, and reuse it. The integration with the GEOS platform will be mostly looking for what concern the data aspects of data already included or to be further registered within the GEOS platform. The next question is from Helmut And Helmut is asking more on the idea behind the knowledge package, input and curation process, management and governance. Is asking if there is an expert committee to select and rate the best method or data for a given problem. So on this question, I would like to give the floor to Thomas, just by and only introducing the concept that within the GEO Knowledge Hub, the real owners of the knowledge is never going to be the GEO Secretariat, is the knowledge provider, is the GEO Work Program activity. And so, Thomas, would you like to respond and complement? Thank you.
Yes, perfect. I think this is a very important question, because what I think we in all circumstances have to avoid that the Knowledge Hub becomes a data dump for people that upload whatever free and open data set they have, maybe even not so well documented, because then you will easily get lost. And I think there, what I understood from the discussions with the GEO Knowledge Hub team is that it's really the task of each of the GEO activities to discuss within their community what type of information can be uploaded there, what is the data sets that are of use, and hence will be made available as a knowledge package. So it's a bit, you mentioned in your question the wiki approach. I wouldn't call it a free and open wiki, but within the community and initiative, I think there it's, let's say, at least from the Human Planet Initiative, I would not see big problems in discussing which data sets should be uploaded there. But at the same time, also this discussion in our Human Planet Initiative is only starting now. So maybe I don't see the problems that are coming up once we start more discussion in that direction.
Thank you, Thomas. And Florian, please, if you want to complement as well on this specific question.
Yes, thank you, Paula. Yeah, it's just on the functionality side regarding how the results are registered and curated with the communities and the record management functionalities that you have seen before in the demo. It is possible before a resource is published to share it with other people of your communities for them to review what you have uploaded or registered. And you can even put an embargo on the records if you need time before it being officially released and things like this. This is all possible and easily done through the interface. Hopefully, yes.
Thank you very much, Florian and Thomas, to complement on this question. There is, you mentioned, Helmut, collective wisdom or user feedback and rating. At this specific stage, we are very much open still in including additional functionalities that are critical for GEO work program activities and for the GEO community to incorporate in the GEO Knowledge App. And to mention additional words on the user side, on user community, we do plan to have within the GEO Knowledge Hub, associated to a given Earth observation solution, a user forum. This user forum will allow additional sharing of experience and on reusing the proposed solution, as well as it will be an opportunity for intercrossed capacity development between the user communities. So there will be definitely user feedback component. We do have one last minute before the close of the session. One question that came to me is, what are the steps to start engaging within the GEO Knowledge Hub? So we welcome all GEO Work Program activities who wants to start contributing to the GEO Knowledge Hub to contact GEO Secretariat. So the team, Florian, myself, Gilberto, who will be guiding you into the step-by-step process to start registering your resources. And we welcome as well for any additional feedback tomorrow at 6 o'clock Geneva time for an additional feedback on a GEO Knowledge Hub session. It's a spotlight session. And with this, I really would like to thank all the speakers, Thomas, Lubia, Gilberto, and of course you who have been listening to our session, and we hope it has been useful and interesting. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the day.